Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry, and tonight I'm going to be recording some Planescape Torment. Let's all relax and enjoy the introduction, and I'll get back to it when we hit the main menu screen. All those skulls turn to look ominously, as if they've seen someone before. Accusing finger points. And the lady drifts away. Alright, this is Planescape Torment, a game I haven't played in many a long year. I first played this game, I don't want to say immediately when it came out. I left it for a year or two, well, maybe less than a year. I mean, let's see. Actually, there's a nice little story about this, which I want to bring up at some point, but basically, Planescape Torment is, of course, one of the Infinity Engine games. You know, it's from 1999, and yeah, it's showing its age a little bit. You know, some of the graphics will look a bit dated. But hey, we're gonna have fun anyway. I never completed this game. I know how far I got quite a long way. I got to just outside the factory in what I'd sort of call Chapter 4, in like a district off the side of the map. I know where I got, okay, so I never got to see Valor. But I gather I was coming pretty close. Yeah. So, what can I say about this game? Alright, so those of you who have watched some of my Let's Plays before will know that I like to do a little bit of a preamble when starting a new game. You know, I'll sit and chat for a bit before diving in there and getting my hands dirty. So, let's see. It was 1999, I was a student. I'd played Baldur's Gate. I think I might have even played Icewind Dale a bit, and Might of Magic 6 and Diablo. And yeah, this new game came out called Planescape Torment, which was obviously set in the Planescape setting from TSR before they got bought out by Wizards of the Coast a few years later, and the third edition got released. Now, up until this point, I had always held a particular disdain for the Planescape setting. I genuinely and generally considered Planescape to be the second worst setting TSR had ever put out, after Spelljammer, which I considered to be the utmost worst of all. And of course, now we have the wonderful Baldur's Gate 3 teaser trailers on YouTube with full-on Spelljammer, Githyanki and Githzerai riding dragons to attach a Mind Flayer Spelljammer ship, you know, and burn it, set fire to it, and it goes through this canyon, doing the whole Luke Skywalker flying through the canyon on the surface of the Death Star to shoot the missile down the thingy tube thing. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of that scene, isn't it? But anyway, so originally, the Planescape setting came out early 90s, like 91, 92-ish, and it was marketed dreadfully. I don't know if it sold poorly or if it sold well, but the marketing material I saw for it was just god-awful. It was like really cartoonish grotesque, horrible artwork that didn't do it any favours. And then it was described to me as, in a really whimsical manner, has been like, oh yeah, it's a place where, you know, instead of being like, this is a place where belief forms reality, right? It was like, oh yeah, it's like this great place where you can like believe anything. If you believe you can fly, you can fly. You can believe up and down and left is right. And with the jokey comical artwork that was just like, you know, giant shoulder pads and massive oversized weapons and women in very skimpy garments, and the whole thing looking really sketchy and unfinished in terms of art, it didn't really appeal. It looked like it was aimed at kind of jokey teenagers who wanted to have a bit of a laugh. And you know what? It was a TSR product. It probably was aimed at jokey teenagers who wanted to laugh. But when I was a student at college, hey, you know what? Torment came out. And I held off, right? I didn't like it. I was like, I don't want to buy this, right? I'm kind of, you know, I'm not a big fan of the Planescape setting. The cover box of the game has got like this blue-faced bloke with dreadlocks, and yeah, dreadlocks are alright, not a problem, but why does he have to be blue? And does it matter? Is everyone going to be blue in this game? You know. So I didn't buy the game for like 6 months or something. And eventually I was getting to that point where I was like, yeah, I've played all the games I've got on my computer. I played like Might Magic 6. I don't think Might Magic 7 had even come out yet at that point. Played Diablo a lot. Played Baldur's Gate. And I was like, you know what, actually I do fancy another Infinity Engine game. So in the end, and there was like no new games coming out that were any good at the time. And I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go buy this game. So I went and I bought it and I played it. And it achieved a remarkable feat, which was to turn that rubbish setting pitch into a really good setting and actually a really great story that made me excited about exploring this world and being a part of it. And so that really stuck. And another great thing about this game was the conversations, the writing, the descriptive writing, the narrative structure, the way that, like, you know, entire combats could be carried out through conversation rather than, you know, quick just sprites smashing each other on the screen, which, to be fair, is how most of the fights in this game are carried out. But there was thinking to it, right? It was like a fun game. You know, there's this thing where, like, as the main character, you can go around giving everyone a fake name, right? And you get the opportunity to use the same fake name, and if you use that name often enough, that person comes into existence and like walks up to you and is like, hey, you've made me. You keep saying my name. Everyone believes I exist because you've told them that I exist. So here I am. What's the deal? And you have to explain to him, oh yeah, shit, look, I just made you up, man. At which point he obviously stops existing. And you can steal all his stuff. Because he never had it anyway. He never had it. But it's come with him, so it's there. So it's like, that's kind of the way things in this game work. And it's not like, oh yeah, I believe this. It's like, no. It's actually, you know, a deep-seated, unshakable belief has to be formed, and things can be done over time, and it's not just like silly stuff. So yeah, let's dive right in. Oh, also, new life then. So this is the enhanced edition, the new version, which has some differences. I did a quick test recording before to check audio volume levels, and it should all be okay, right? Hopefully you can all hear my voice, and if not, I apologise. I'll put like a thing in the description, like maybe this one's best viewed with subtitles turned on. But for now, let's go to the character sheet. So, in this game, we play a pre-generated character, and his skin isn't blue! Just gotta get that out there. So this is the nameless one, our main character. And actually, there's some stuff I want to say about him before we go any further. So, the nameless one was, of course, voiced by the magnificent Michael T. Weiss, an American actor. Now, Planescape Torment came out in 1999. So obviously he recorded the voice over lines in like 1998, 1999, maybe 97. From 1996 to the year 2000, Michael T. Weiss was starring in an American TV show called The Pretender, a show in which he played a character called Jared, who was on the run from a shadowy organization. And those of you who played Planescape Torment will know that the Nameless One is pursued by shadows. Jared possessed a uncanny and preternatural skill. He could learn any skill or what do you call it? Vocation, you know, a trade or anything, by simply studying and watching people and just pick it up by osmosis. Essentially, he could learn a trade in a day or two, right? So he could literally become anyone. This was the science fiction aspect of the show, that he is capable of doing this. He had no childhood memories and was trying to discover his origins, like his childhood, why he existed, why this organization wanted him, why they wanted to use his skills. He was on the run from them, they were always chasing him. In Planescape Torment, the Nameless One is being chased by shadows. He has the ability to change character classes by merely studying people for a few minutes. And he also has no memories of his past and is trying to rediscover his origins. Wow, talk about getting paid twice to do the same job. I mean, my god, it's practically the same character. And actually, when I first saw an episode of the TV series and immediately recognised his voice, I was like, hey, it's the Nameless One! And I actually ended up binge watching practically the whole thing at some point. So that was for 4 years, from 1996 to 2000. In 1999 or 98, he recorded the voiceover lines for the Nameless One, and then in 2001 there were like 2 TV movies to round off the series. Okay, let's talk about ability points. So this is using the 2nd edition rules set, so those of you who are used to playing 4th edition or 5th edition or Pathfinder or something, you need to know that ability scores are rather different in 1st and 2nd edition, in that the ability scores do not matter as much after character creation. In fact, many of them are not used after character creation very much at all. So you will have derived abilities from these. So for example, with strength, you'll have like bend bars, lift gates, encumbrance values. Yeah, they'll get used. You need to have like a strength of 15 or 16 to even start seeing a bonus to hit something, and like 5 or 6 or lower to start seeing penalties. You need to have like a strength of 16 or 17 to start seeing a damage bonus or something like that, right? Again, dexterity, right? You need to have a dexterity of 15 to actually modify armor class. And of course, importantly, because this is based on 2nd edition, armor class descends and gets lower as it becomes harder to hit. Now, so we have these 6 ability scores: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. Now, this is the way they were arranged in 1st edition and 2nd edition. In late 2nd edition, some people did their own custom character sheets and began to put strength, dexterity, constitution, and then intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, almost as 2 separate groups. And yeah, they became arranged that way pretty much from 3rd edition and Pathfinder onwards. But I always liked this, strength, physical, mental, physical, mental, right? It's just this way of arranging it so that you weren't being like, oh, all the physical ones go on top, or all the mental ones go on top or something, right? It was just, you got to a better split. And you also got like the SIWD, well, CC, as if they'd sort of run out of names for the last 2 and just gone, oh yeah, just start them both with the same letter. Right, so what do we want to do with the Nameless One? I think I want to do something similar to my original playthrough-ish. I'm not going to copy everything, right? But first off, all these 9s, I want to make them 10s, right? I'm going to increase all of these. And you notice that as I increase Constitution, hit points change. This is not normal, right? This is a special custom thing for this game, for the nameless one. So essentially, while we have a 3 to 30 hit point range for a starting 3d10 hit dice, the game is saying the Constitution is affecting the dice rolls. Alright? So as you see, as I pump it up, I'm going to get more health. As I take it down, I'm going to get less health again. That's okay. It's a nice, interesting way of doing it, so it's not quite as random. So investing a point in Constitution is saying I actually want a bit to be a more healthy, robust character. Now, the nameless one can be a fighter, which prioritizes strength, a wizard, which prioritizes intelligence, or a thief, which prioritizes dexterity. So these 3 would be nice to be high. That being said, fighters' main abilities in 1st and 2nd edition are using more weapons than other people can use well, like using lots of weapons, and wearing all the armor. Right? There is virtually no armor in this game. There's no armor this guy ever gets to wear. He sometimes gets to disguise himself in a few different outfits, but the main benefit of the fighter, having good chances to hit and wearing lots of armor, well, he'd get the hits in, but he'll be relying on Constitution to be tough and survive. Dexterity will govern the use of his thief skills, so we're going to want a bit in there. Intelligence will be used for learning spells. Most importantly for me, the chance to learn a spell is intelligence based. Now, I can't remember if this game allows you to fail the rolls to learn spells. In Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale and Baldur's Gate 2, you automatically succeed attempting to learn any spell. In this game, it might be possible to fail attempts to learn spells. So I'm going to want a point more in intelligence. With that being said, let's now look at other ability scores and see what we want. Strength. This ability score represents your raw strength. A high strength allows you to carry more weight and makes your melee attacks more accurate and damaging. Your strength is average. Okay, you know what? We're going to have to fight a bit early on. Having some strength will be useful. Intelligence. This ability score represents your memory, reasoning, and deductive skills. A high intelligence helps you regain memories faster, gives you more dialogue options, and aids your mage skills. Your intelligence is average. Yes, people, like the old Fallout games, intelligence affects which dialogue options are available. The same actually goes for charisma for personal skills as well. I like having more dialogue options, so I'm going to put another point into intelligence. Wisdom. This ability score represents your intuition, common sense, and willpower. A high wisdom helps you recall memories and gives you a bonus to experience points. Your wisdom is average. Now, the bonus experience points from wisdom, I don't know if they apply only to the nameless one, or if his companions will also gain bonus points from wisdom. Traditionally, in 1st and 2nd edition, a fighter would get bonus points from strength, a thief would get bonus points from dexterity, a magic user would get bonus points from intelligence, clerics would get points from wisdom, So it would be something related to your character class. In this case, it's automatically related to wisdom. It would be nice to have bonus experience points and level faster, but let's hold off on that for now because as I said, I've got a bit of an idea where I'm going with this. So, dexterity. This ability score represents your agility, reflexes, and hand-to-eye coordination. A high dexterity makes you harder to hit and aids your thief skills. Your dexterity is average. Well, we have thief skills. Thief skills being highly dexterity related would mean it would be nice to get a bit more of them. Constitution. This ability score represents your physique, hardiness, and state of health. A high constitution gives you more hit points, and in the nameless one's case, a faster regeneration rate as well. Your constitution is average. I like playing healthy characters who don't get ill, don't get beaten up easily, and are generally tough. I'm going to put a point into constitution and have those 24 hit points. In fact, I might go as high as 26, but I will see where my other points are going first before I decide. Charisma. This ability score represents your persuasiveness, personal magnetism, and ability to lead. The higher your charisma, the more favourably others will react towards you. I like this. Now, as far as I'm aware, in my experience playing this game, I'm not particularly aware of charisma affecting NPCs' reactions towards me very much. It seems to be a generally standard, it doesn't seem to have a massive difference that I'm aware of. That being said, maybe I just haven't pumped it high enough. So yeah, in 1st and 2nd edition, you rolled your ability scores at character creation and that was it. They wouldn't generally change. If you got resurrected and raised from the dead, you literally lost a permanent point of constitution. It was gone. And then you had to make a system shock roll based on your pre-raising constitution to see if you actually survived the resurrection or if your body just couldn't handle it and you died. Now, before deciding where the rest of these points go, memory tells me there are some very important dexterity checks at the beginning of the game. And the way this game handles ability score checks is that it literally goes, is your stat high enough? It doesn't roll, there's no dice roll, it's just, do you have dexterity 14 or wisdom 13 or intelligence 12 or whatever it is. And in this case, I know for a fact that you want to have dexterity 15 in the starting areas of the game. So I will absolutely have that. Now, a fighter without armor in this edition of the game is not a very good fighter, I'm afraid. So we have a thief or a wizard. The thief levels faster, but his levels are worth less. He literally requires less experience points to level because he doesn't bring as much to the party. Also, we'll be getting 1 or 2 reasonably good thieves as party members, so he won't need to be thief for too long. The wizard has the ability to learn spells and cast spells. There will be a wide variety of spells available, and the nameless one can make a very good wizard, especially as he won't be able to wear any armor. To be a wizard, we will want lots of intelligence, and we will want the ability to learn spells without failing the learn spell roll. So we're going to want our intelligence to be quite high. Now, unlike most characters in the first 2 editions of this game, we actually get ability score points as we level up. And unlike 3rd edition, or Pathfinder, or 4th edition, or 5th edition, we don't get ability points like every 3 or 4 levels. No, every time we gain a character level, we get an ability score point to pop into one of these babies. And by memory, we start at level 3. By the time we are level 8, I want to have 18 intelligence. So let me see, where do I want these remaining points to go? I want to put a point in strength to match that constitution. It would be nice to have another point of wisdom and charisma. So the final question becomes, do I put this point in intelligence or constitution? I think I want to go with constitution. Do I just go straight? I mean, the wisdom would be nice as well, you know? But I think I will go with the constitution. So there we have it. Our nameless one, ready to head off on his magnificent adventure. I'll even take a screenshot in case YouTube doesn't give me a decent thumbnail option. I should probably take a screenshot of the main menu screen as an option as well. Right, so here we go, off to adventure. Let us descend into oblivion and have some fun together.
Hey, Chief. You okay? You playing corpse or you putting the blinds on the dusties? I thought you were a deader for sure.
That's a skull. So, old-time players will notice the dialogue window has changed slightly. Only slightly. But okay. Who are you? Who am I? How about you start? Who are you? I asked you first, Skull. Yeah, and I asked you second. What's your name? I don't know. I can't remember. You can't remember your name, huh? Well, next time you spend a night in this burg, go easy on the bub. Name's Mort. I'm trapped in here too. Trapped? Yeah. Since you haven't had time to get your legs yet, here's the chant. I've tried all the doors in this room and it's locked tighter than a chastity belt. We're locked in where? What is this place? It's called the Mortuary. It's a big black structure with all the architectural charm of a pregnant spider. The Mortuary? What? Am I dead? Not from where I'm standing. You got scars aplenty though. Looks like some Burke painted you with a knife. All the more reason to give this place a laugh before whoever carved you up comes here to finish the job. Scars? How bad are they? Well, the carvings on your chest aren't too bad, but the ones on your back... Mort pauses. Say, looks like you got a whole tattoo gallery on your back, Chief. Spells out something. Tattoos on my back? What do they say? So this is interesting, right? I believe there was a black and white horror / detective movie from the 30s, 40s or 50s. I think it was called The Illustrated Man, in which a man suffers from constant bouts of amnesia, and every time he wakes up he has new tattoos on his body with messages literally written on him, and he has to piece together the mystery of what on earth is going on. And yeah, and yes, there's that quest in a recent game called The Illustrated Manual, which is a blatant callback to that, and I'm sure there's other things relate to that as well. But this to me is a nice little tie-in. I don't know if it's intentional on the part of the writers, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Hey, looks like you come with directions. Mort clears his throat. For a floating skull, the fact that he's able to clear his throat is impressive. Let's see. It starts with... I know you feel like you've been drinking a few kegs of Styx Wash, but you need to center yourself. Among your possessions is a journal that'll shed some light on the dark of the matter. Farrod can fill you in on the rest of the chant, if he's not in the dead book already. Farrod? Does it say anything else? Yeah, there's a bit more. Mort pauses. Remember that pause, because that'll be fun later on. Let's see. It goes on. Don't lose the journal, or we'll be up the sticks again. And whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you. Read the journal, then find Farrod. No wonder my back hurts. There's a whole damn novel written there. As for that journal I'm supposed to have with me, was there one with me when I was lying here? Nah, you were stripped to the skins when you arrived here. Besides, looks like you got enough of a journal penned on your body. What about this Farrod person? Do you know him? Nobody I know, but then, I don't know many people. Still, some Burke's gotta know where to find Farrod, once we get out of here, that is. And how exactly do we get out of here, Skull? Well, all the doors are locked, so we'll need a key. Chances are one of the walking corpses in this room has it. Yeah, I know, I'm not good at American accents, but Mort has such a strong American accent, I've kind of got to try. Walking corpses? Yeah, the mortuary the mortuary keepers use dead bodies as cheap labor. The corpses are dumb as stones, but they're harmless and won't attack you unless you attack first. Is there some other way? I don't want to just kill him just for a key. What? What? Do you think it's going to hurt their feelings? They're dead. But if you want a bright side of this, if you kill them, at least they'll have a rest before their keepers raise them up to work again. Well, alright. I'll take one of them down and get the key. Well, before you do that, arm yourself first. I think there's a scalpel on one of the shelves around here. Note, search for shelves in the room for a weapon to attack the zombies with. When you find one, go to the inventory screen, the backpack button on the lower right, and arm yourself. If you wish to examine any items you find, right-click on them in the inventory screen. Alright, I'll look for one. One last thing. These corpses are slow as molasses, but getting punched by one of them is like being kissed by a battering ram. If they start getting an edge on you, remember you can run. And they can't. Use it to keep some distance if you need to recover, because the nameless one is regenerating health points. At a very slow rate, admittedly, but if it runs away from a zombie, it'll regenerate, and it won't, because it's dead. Note, to run either toggle on in the options screen, hell no, or hold down the shift key and left click the area you want to run to. If you're in danger of dying, use running to keep your distance from the zombies while you recover. Alright, thanks for the advice. So, differences. This whole panel here, this is new, right? The old, this from here to here used to fit along the bottom of the screen in the old way before widescreen monitors, right? These buttons were on a radial menu that could be pulled up by right-clicking. This was like just here. So we have the clock, we can click on the clock to pause the game, click on it again to unpause it. We have lots of buttons down here. We have opening back up the dialog window. We have lock view on character and unlock, toggle AI for party members, character sheet, inventory, map, wizard spellbook, priest spellbook, journal, options, and the party rest, combat log, quick loot, which these are new buttons by the way, and how to play. Brings up lots of useful information which I'm not going to read for now because it's all fairly basic stuff. If people really want me to, I'll read it sometime in the next episode. It's just I feel I've been waffling long enough for now. This slab is covered with dried blood and other remains. So in this game, clicking on things brings up pop-up tooltips like this, which then disappear after a little while. To my knowledge, this was the first game to do this. These barrels contain a murky liquid. It smells like a cross between vinegar and formaldehyde. Previous games, it would either open like a chat window or the message would pop up and you'd have to like close it manually or something. Looks like someone is in the middle of dissecting this corpse. Now, I'm going to be intentionally slow a bit because I like completing the maps, right? I like to find everything on the map so that when I open the map up, there aren't great big dark patches like this. So we have some kind of sort of table shelving thing, worktop. Lots of bandages. Let us take a moment to examine these bandages, shall we? This is a roll of bandages used for... That's not a word. This is not a word in the English language, I'm sorry. Staunching is a word, yes. Stanching is... It's either a spelling mistake or something. Used for staunching minor wounds. I will not use these, but I will put them in an item quick slot. They can be used... heals 3 hit points. Yeah, great. You know what? We have hit points. Also, I don't remember the AC being in yellow on the old inventory and character sheets in this game. I think that stands out a little bit too much to me. It's weird, okay? It's weird. I'll get used to it. Now, Mort said all these doors were locked. This door is locked. You will need a key. Yep, he wasn't far wrong. Okay, these barrels contain a murky liquid. It smells like a cross between vinegar and formaldehyde. I have virtually no sense of smell, so I'm going to have to just try and imagine what that smells like. There's that scalpel. Alright, you found the scalpel! Now go get those corpses, and don't worry, I'll stay back and provide valuable tactical advice. Maybe you could help me, Mort? I will be helping you. Good advice is hard to come by. I meant by attacking the corpse. Me? I'm a romantic, not a soldier. I just get in the way. Alright then. Time to introduce these corpses to the second death then. Although you can attack by selecting a weapon from the quick menu, pressing the A key also toggles the attack cursor. Oh really, so does the control key. Well, first off, I'm going to be selecting my scalpel, get it in my hand. You see the knife has appeared in his hand there. And let's go do some... well, no. Let's continue examining our surroundings and make sure I find out which zombie to attack first instead of just randomly attacking them all. That door seems to be unlocked. No, there's no locked icon. Okay, well, let's try it anyway. Yeah, that door's locked too. Well, what's this here then? Empty. It's worth checking everything in this game. Like the other corpses in this room, this one is covered in blood and completely gutted. Well, internal organs can rot. That is empty, unfortunately. Hey, zombie, come here. I want to have a good look at you. This shambling corpse looks like it has been dead for several years. The skin along its forehead has peeled back, revealing its chalk-white skull. Someone has chiseled the number 569 into the exposed bone. I'm looking for a key. Do you happen to have one? Chief, they can't hear you, alright? They're dead. But you're dead, and you're talking to me. Yeah, but I'm special. Death couldn't kill my zest for life. These corpses here, Mort rolls his eyes, they probably didn't have much personality to begin with. I see. Look, Chief, watching you trying to swap the chant with these corpses isn't doing much for my morale. Let's leave the corpse talk for the barmies, alright? Alright. Let's go. But before I do, I'm going to examine the corpse to see if it's carrying a key. The corpse doesn't appear to be carrying a key, and it doesn't look like it would be able to use one if it did. Its fingers are broken as if someone smashed them with a hammer. You do happen to notice that its left shoulder is heavily bandaged. The bandages might be useful if the corpse was disposed of first. I guess you don't have it. You don't happen to know which of your other corpse friends has the key out of this place. Chief, they can't hear you, right? Yeah, we've already established this. Okay. Alright, let's go. Dried blood covers the slab's surface. We've checked that. Let's check over here, because there are more zombies. Hello, zombie. This corpse's head rolls back and forth on its shoulders. Judging from the angle of the neck, it looks like this man may have been hanged. The number 825 has been painted on the side of his head. I'll take a look and see if he's carrying a key. This corpse is carrying nothing, but you happen to notice its wounds are heavily bandaged. The bandages might be useful if the corpse was disposed of first. Well, we'll leave him in peace. So we could fight these zombies for bandages and regenerate the health that we might lose fighting them. A bloody cloth covers the remains of this corpse. The stench rising from the body is almost unbearable. Again, I'm having to imagine. This corpse looks like someone turned it inside out. A machine at the head of the table has peeled the skin off the forehead to give direct access to the skull. So one thing I don't like about these timed pop-ups is they're generally a little bit too short to actually read them. But hey, there's a zombie here that we haven't had a chance to interact with yet. This corpse stops and stares blankly at you as you approach. The number 782 is carved into his forehead and his lips have been stitched closed. The faint smell of formaldehyde emanates from his body. Examine the corpse to see if it's carrying a key. This corpse looks like the one with the key. It's holding it tightly in its left hand. Its thumb and forefinger locked it in a death grip. It looks like you'll need to hack the corpse's hand off to free the key. I need that key, corpse. Looks like you're not long for this world. Now let's fight. Okay, Mort,
What's up?
you didn't want to fight. You just kind of want to watch. Nameless one, go to town.
Die.
Alright. Well, that worked nicely.
Done.
We have a preparation room key, which I'm going to presume, in case it's got some fancy description, is the key for this room. The head of this bronze key has been twisted around itself several times so that it resembles a screw. If Mort is to be believed, it unlocks one of the doors in the preparation room. Okay, now I know which key it's going to open, but which lock it's going to open, but hey, let's have a look around and check all the doors. When using keys in Torment, you only need to have them in your inventory to unlock a door. In some cases, the key will vanish after it is used. This is done when the key is no longer needed and frees up your inventory slots for other, more important items. Okay then. Well, another reason to move up here and check is to clear out a little bit of the fog of war. So these new buttons we have select a weapon, so literally it's like, you know, scalpel or fist. Guard, I don't remember guard, okay. Select a spell, if we have spells. Select an item. Hey, there's our bandages. Select special ability. Basically, spells, but more unique characterful spells. And dialogue, so I can just go, hey Mort, I want to talk with you. Alright, that's the key. It must fit the lock to one of these doors in the room. Well, I'll try all the doors then. So let's try all the doors, because I know which one it is. Will it be this door? No. Will it be this door? No. It must then, by a process of elimination, be this door. Now, we don't know what's going to be on the other side of this door. It could be danger. Actually, I've got a pretty good idea. Lost item. The key is gone. Psst. Some advice, Chief. I'd keep it quiet from here on, Burr. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary, especially the femmes. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. I don't think you mentioned it before. Who are these caretakers? They call themselves the Dustmen. You can't miss them. They have an obsession for black and rigor mortis of the face. They're an adult bunch of ghoulish death worshippers. They believe everyone should die. Sooner, better than later. Interesting he says better than later instead of rather than later. I wonder if that's more of a colloquialism. I'm confused. Why do these Dustmen care if I escape? Weren't you listening? I said the Dusties believe everyone's gotta die, sooner better than later. You think the corpses you're seeing are happier in the dead book than out of it? Well, the corpses I've seen here, where did they all come from? Death visits the plane Death visits the plains every day, Chief. These shamblers are all that's left of the poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. That's interesting. So, the poor and downtrodden, the needy, those who really need the money, can, like, go sign a contract with these caretakers and be like, yeah, when I die, you can use my body to help run the mortuary. That's a pretty grim thing. I mean, I suppose you get some people who are like, yeah, well, I'm not going to be using it anymore. When you get some people who actually be like, you know what, I won't be using it anymore. You might as well get some use out of it. But most people are going to be like, bloody hell, that's really... I mean, will my soul still be in the body afterwards? Because if there's some vestige of my personality, or if there's some part of me remaining, if I'm going to be trapped in my body after death, here constantly carrying out tasks for all you people for all eternity, and I'm willing to sign that contract because my debts are that bad, that's pretty bad. People have got to be getting pretty down and low in the city outside. Before you said something about making sure I didn't kill any female corpses. Why would you say that?
What? Are you serious? Look, Chief, these dead chits are the last chance for a couple of hardy bashers like us. We need to be chivalrous. No hacking them up for keys, no lopping their limbs off. Things like that.
Last chance? What are you talking about, man?
Chief, they're dead, we're dead. See where I'm going, eh? Eh?
No, I don't actually.
Chief, we already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We've all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience.
Death experience as opposed to life experience. Wait, didn't you say before that I'm not dead?
Well, alright, you might not be dead, but I am. And from where I'm standing, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see here.
Mort starts clacking his teeth as if in anticipation. Oh, goodness.
Of course, the caretakers would have to part with them first, and that's not likely.
Right. Where did all these corpses come from? Did I ask that already? I can't remember. I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Alright, I'll try to remember not to hurt the women, you weird skull you.
Look, Chief, it's obviously you're still a little addled after your kiss with death, so I got two bits of advice for you. One, if you got questions, ask me, alright?
Alright, if I have any questions, I'll ask you.
Second, if you're half as forgetful as you seem to be, start writing stuff down. Whenever you come across something that might be important, jot it down so you don't forget.
Well, if I had that journal I was supposed to have with me, I'd do that.
Start a new one then, Chief. No loss. There's plenty of parchment and ink around here to last you.
Alright. It couldn't hurt. I'll make a new one then.
Use it to keep track of your movements. If you ever start to get cloudy on important things like who you are, or more importantly, who I am, use it to refresh your memory.
Alright. Let's go.
Updated my journal.
Updated my journal. It's the line that will forever immortalize this character. And now, we have a journal. The journal in this game is very good. This search bar, I believe, is new. I believe this was like eating into here a little bit, but yeah, so, we have quests, we have journal, which is literally almost everything that's happened to us in the game so far, and beasts. It's creatures we have encountered. So far we have encountered Mort, and the nameless one, and NPCs, female zombie, male zombie. I know, not much so far, but there is a immense amount of detail here, and it gives a lot of nice information and insight. I could spend entire episodes reading the journal. I probably won't do that unless you guys really want me to, because I'm sensing we're kind of here for the adventure and the story. However, one of the nice things about the journal being so thorough and complete is that If you stop playing the game for a few months and then come back to it, you can load up a save, check your journal, catch up on all the things you were doing, because this game, you have lots of quests and things and lots of moving parts. Lots of things to keep track of, and the journal does a really good job of doing that. Okay, let's go see what this lady zombie is all about. The shambling corpse gazes at you with vacant eyes. Her skin is paper thin, almost wispy. It's like someone draped a sheet of cobwebs across her frame. The number 594 has been scratched onto her forehead with a charcoal pencil. Right, when I... So, are you doing anything later? I don't think I want to chat up a corpse. She probably wouldn't respond. Okay, we'll leave her.
Psst! You see the way she was looking at me? Huh? You see that? The way she was following the curve of my occipital bone?
You mean that blank-eyed, beyond the grave stare?
What? Are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way she wanted me.
I've got to. I've just got to. Wanted you to go away, maybe? She was obviously too distracted by me to pay attention to some stupid bobbing head with a big mouth.
You? Yeah, right. Trust me, chits beyond the grave don't care about all that physicality, and I've got a body, and I'm all scarred and tough looking. They want guys with spirit. That's me, Chief. You corpses like you are common as copper. Whatever, Mort.
Let's go. So, one nice thing about Mort is he is fun as characters go in this game. He is one of the more enjoyable companions. I like him. He's fun to have around. Bloodstains, rust and other remains cover the surface of his metal slab. It is much larger than most of the other slabs and is sitting on a platform that allows it to be rotated. I can indeed see the rotational platform. And do the rotating platforms move along these tracks, or do the these things come off the platforms and then move along the tracks and then get put on the platforms? I'm not entirely sure, but there's another body over here to interact with. The left side of this woman's face looks as if it was caved in with a club, and her flesh sags in bruised, swollen clumps over her ruined skull. The number 626 has been stitched into the corpse's right cheek, just under the eye. Nasty wound you got there. The corpse continues to stare at you with its one good eye. Yeah, that zombie's for you. Farewell then. There's another zombie over here. Let's stand for a moment and watch this zombie. And hope we're not in his way. Oh, okay then. See, he came in a very distinct line and then turned a corner. Now he's gone across to there. So he's in some kind of patrolling pattern or something. This corpse is lumbering along a triangular path. Once it reaches one of the corners of the triangle, it pauses, then turns and staggers towards the next corner. It has 965 tattooed on the side of its skull. As you approach, it halts and stares at you.
Heh. Looks like someone forgot to tell this poor sod to stop walking the rule of threes.
What do you mean?
These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they'll keep doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished some task and they forgot to tell him.
Who gives them their commands? You notice there's 3 options here. Remember the rule of 3? Bit of a little in-joke, I think. Who gives them their commands?
Either one of the caretakers here, or else whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need the cheap labor after all.
I see, and what was it you said about the rule of freeze?
Updated my journal.
Well, the rule of freeze is one of those laws about the planes. About things tending to happen in freeze, or everything's composed of three parts, or there's always three choices, and so on and so forth. You sound like you don't hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. I see. Before you said something about this corpse, a taskman forgot. Someone put this corpse to a taskman forgot to tell him. Stop. So there's literally, after he said that he doesn't believe in things coming along in freeze, we get 3 options to choose from. Alright, understood. I just want to examine this zombie a bit more. This corpse is lumbering along a strangle. Okay, so nothing particularly new there. Alright, leave the corpse in peace. But we'll continue to examine the room before heading through the door, because we want to, like, thoroughly investigate everything. Bloodstains, rust, and other remains cover the surface of this metal slab. It is much larger than most of the other slabs, and is sitting on a platform that allows it to be rotated. It's about the same size as that slab. It's not much larger, just maybe a little bit. But let's check out this room, because there could be something hidden in the corners, right? There could be... There won't be, but there could be. And we're getting glimpses of some kind of chute or circular funnel going down the middle of the building. Also, I should really keep a better eye on the time, because I didn't quite catch an eye of when I started. I know when I got out of the main menu, so I'll just estimate based on that. I'd like to maybe get this floor done before I call the episode, but if I end up going along, I'll go along. Whatever, we'll see. Nothing in there. This corpse is shuffling from slab to slab, bandaging the corpses lying there. The number 369 is carved onto his left temple, and his lips are stitched closed. So one of the necromancer's raising corpses has got a thing about sewing up their mouths. Is it so like their jaw doesn't drop off and they don't accidentally bite something or something like that? You notice the corpse is carrying a roll of bandages in its hand, and the bandages look unusable. Mind if I borrow those bandages? The corpse continues to stare at you. Let's just try and slide the bandages gently out of his hand. You snake your hand out and take the roll of bandages from the corpse's hand. The corpse doesn't even seem to notice. It continues going through the motions of bandaging the bodies. And we'll leave him in peace. And now, to be super freaky. Hey Mort, could you carry a bandage for me? And like maybe grip it in your teeth? You know Mort has Mort's Bite as a weapon. Because hey, I mean you can headbutt and bash and bite and yeah. Proficiency fists. Don't ask. Mort's Bite is lethal and he can masticate someone to death. As long as his quick weapon slots are not all filled, Mort can always select Bite as his current weapon. Mort's Bite is his default attack. Although the amount of damage he can do with his bite is relatively small, it allows him to attack quickly, which can infuriate any mage who's trying to cast a spell. That's true, he can interrupt people. And also look, his armor class is 2. Ours is 9. This means that we will get hit a lot more often than he will if we get into a fight. So if we get into a fight with a zombie, yeah, he doesn't quite have the same amount of hit points as us, but he can really take a beating. He is a tough little bone box. Let's continue raiding the shelves, receiving room logbook. I should absolutely look at that. This huge logbook lists mortuary procedures in a tight, crabbed script. All shells entering the mortuary are to be delivered to the receiving room and logged with the scribe on duty before being embalmed or cremated. The records are to be checked to determine if the shell is one of the contracted, and if so, do not prepare the shell. Move the shell to one of the preparation rooms.
Contact with scribe on duty and notify him that the contracted shell is to be raised. Be certain that a shell is thoroughly stripped of its possessions before being sent to the preparation room. The contracted workers are intended for simple manual labour and do not have the capacity to search and strip a shell. The faction is not responsible for any possessions lost or items stolen by collectors who have brought the shells to the mortuary. That is such a disclaimer. The shell's possessions are to be stored in the receiving room until an initiate can be sent to claim them. Please catalogue all possessions in the logbook. Following this lists is thousands of entries of bodies that have been sent to the receiving room. As you flip through the rest of the book, however, you notice the last page has been cut out. So someone had something to hide. Yeah. Now, I know that when I play this game, I am in the neurotic habit of checking character screens to see how many experience points a character will need to gain a level. I'm going to need to be careful about this, because if I happen to see, like, someone's PIN number or phone number or something, I need to not blurt it out and just be like, okay, don't look at the screen too long, don't mention it, you know, because, hey, 4-digit numbers, 5-digit numbers, 6-digit numbers, it could happen, right? Okay. Now, let's keep plundering this place for supplies. Copper commons and fist irons. So, the scalpel is a piercing weapon. You'd think it's a slicing weapon, but for this game, small knife is a stabby stab 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 weapon. Fist irons, which don't appear on the character model at all, are basically knuckle dusters, right? This crude iron bar is designed to slip over the fist, with the thick portion resting in the palm and the iron ring facing outwards over the knuckles. Also, it's more like a bagnach. So, this isn't the part the fingers go through, this is the part that goes in the hand. And that's the part that people get clobbered with. While wearing these fist irons, a single punch can shatter someone's jaw. This will deal more damage, but it also deals blunt weapons. Blunt damage. Damage types do matter in this game. Some enemies are vulnerable to different kinds of damage, or highly resistant to it. Okay, I'm going to have a look in here. Nothing. Hey zombie, I want to talk to you. Let's say hello. The worker 1201 has been inked in the forehead of this. Sorry, the number 1201 has been inked on the forehead of this corpse, and the ink has run down its eyes, cheeks, and jaw. Oh, that'd be horrid for special effects if someone were to do a film of this, to be an actor with, like, to have to simulate having dried ink caked over your eyes for an entire scene. As you follow the ink tears down the corpse's face, you notice it has run into the stitching sealing the corpse's mouth, and has caught on what looks like the corner of a note stuck in the corpse's mouth. You know, someone sewed that note in there so it wouldn't get lost. Maybe we should take a look at it. The note has mingled with the ichor on the zombie's mouth. If you tried to pull the paper out through the cross stitches, it would tear the paper to shreds. Hacking up the corpse to get at it looks like it will destroy the note. You'll need to find a delicate way to remove the stitches before removing the note. Well, we will use the scalpel to cut through the stitches. You deftly slice through the stitches, sealing the corpse's mouth, and the jaw sags open. You carefully pull the note from the corpse's mouth. Despite the condition of the paper, the writing on it still appears legible. We'll examine the corpse again in case there's anything else worth paying attention to. The number 1201, so no, nothing extra. Sorry about slicing those stitches, I just had to see what was in your mouth. The corpse's milky white eyes stare at you vacantly. Let's look at this note. Note from corpse 1201. This is a foul-smelling note retrieved from the mouth of one of the mortuary zombies. It looks like it was sewn into the corpse's mouth by accident. Despite its condition, the writing is legible. Please, to whatever dustman reads this, I beg of you, I know of my legal obligation under the terms of the dead contract, but I am prepared to offer more than my signing fee if you will create my body rather than raising it. I have arranged for this note to be left with my body upon my death. If you are reading this, then please use this note as instructed and accept the result in exchange for my contracted duty. Let my contract number serve as the key. This guy was desperate. It looks like the corpse was too late to prevent the raising, but you notice that beneath the writing is a diagram. It looks like directions for folding the parchment into a strange pattern. If you are ever capable of examining an object further, or performing an action with the object outside of the world screen, the Use button will appear for the object on this examined screen. This button allows you to manipulate the item through a dialog screen. If you wish to examine the diagram and this note further, select the Use button below. This foul-smelling note has a strange-looking diagram inscribed beneath the writing. It looks as if it's instructing you to fold the corners of the note so their points touch the centre. There is a series of strange marks on each corner. 1 mark in the upper right, 2 marks in the lower right, 3 marks on the lower left, and no marks on the upper right. So 1, 2, 3, none. Or 1, 2, none, 1, because of the number. So we're going to fold the upper right corner into the centre. You fold the corner inwards so that its point touches the centre. Then we're going to fold the lower right into the centre. You fold the corner inwards so that its point touches the centre. Then we're going to fold the upper left into the centre. As you fold the upper left inward to the centre, you watch as the upper right unfolds by itself, resuming its normal position. So we are going to fold the upper right back into the centre again. As you fold the upper right corner back to the centre, the lower left corner mirrors the action until all of the corners touch in the centre. You watch for a moment, and the corners of the paper raise up, turning the note into a small 4-sided paper pyramid. We open the sides of the pyramid. You peel back the sides of the pyramid and the paper disintegrates to dust. Inside is a small triangle-shaped earring. It catches the light and gleams brightly. Take the triangle earring. I like that puzzle. It's nice. It uses the number from the zombie. Oh, is it a zombie woman? I think. Yeah. No. This female corpse is making the rounds from slab to slab in the room. Her hair is knotted into a long braid and looped around her neck like a noose. Someone has stenciled the number 1096 onto her forehead, and her lips have been stitched closed. Nice plait. The corpse does not respond. You doubt it even knows you're there. Well, fare thee well, my fair lady. Now, this triangle-shaped earring is magical. It has some kind of unknown property, and we need to identify it. You receive this small earring when folding a note in the mouth of one of the walking corpses in the mortuary. It's a beautiful earring, but despite its beauty, all it seems to do is remind you of how strange this world you've woken up in is. Now, we do not have an identify spell. We do, however, have a lore stat. We have 3, Mort's lore is 2. And yet, we're supposed to ask him for advice if we don't know stuff. Okay then. Good to know. let's continue our examination. Here is a not zombie. This gate looks sealed shut. There is no lock or other means of opening it. Let's continue examining the slabs and the zombies before interacting with this fellow and his giant book. This book is huge. It might contain thousands of names. This body is completely covered by a rough, dark cloth. Whereas this body, this corpse has been completely wrapped in bandages, like a mummy. As has this one, in fact. Right, hey, zombie. This walking corpse has the numbers 1094 carved into its forehead. Its mouth has been sewn tightly shut, and the chemical reek of fresh formaldehyde hangs in an overpowering cloud around it. Despite the pallid, sunken features and lifeless, milky eyes, it is clear this was once a handsome young man. So, I like the signs that someone is taking the effort to preserve these zombies so they can get more work out of them. We'll just leave him be. Let's not bother him. And we're seeing more of this vertical shaft here in the middle. These balcony rails are not very high. Hey, if we were to like punt Mort over the side, I don't know if he'd fall or not, because we don't know if he just like maintains a constant height above the ground or if he literally has the power of flight. Okay, let's approach this chap. This scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Charcoal grey eyes lie within an angular face, and a large white beard flows down the front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his quill pen. Right, if he's going to be coughing, and I knew he would be, I'm going to have a quick drink of water. And I mean quick. I mean, Mort's voice is starting to give me a bit of a sore throat anyway, but let's say greetings.
Whoa, Chief. What are you doing? I was gonna speak to his scribe.
He might know something about how I got here.
Look, rattling your bone box with Dusty should be the last thing.
Before Mort can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down and the scribe's breathing resumes its ragged wheeze.
And we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick Dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we give this place the laugh, the better.
Before Mort can finish, the scribe's grey eyes flicker to you.
The weight of years hangs heavily upon me, restless one.
He places down his quill.
But I do not yet count deafness among my ailments.
Restless one. Do you know me?
Know you?
There is a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks.
I have never known you, restless one. No more than you have known yourself.
He is silent for a moment.
For you have forgotten, have you not?
Who are you?
As always, the question. And the wrong question, as always.
He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. He pauses for a moment, catches his breath.
I am dal.
Isn't a dal like a kind of lentil curry? Perhaps you can answer some questions for me, Dal.
Updated my journal.
Very well. What do you wish to know?
What is this place?
You are in the mortuary, Restless One. Again you have come.
Before he can finish, Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing. After a moment he calms himself, and his breathing resumes its ragged wheeze.
This is the waiting room for those about to depart the shadow of this life.
Shadow of this life?
Yes, a shadow. You see, Restless One, this life, it is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickerings of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die, and here we remain, trapped, caged until we can achieve the true death.
What do you mean by true death?
True death is non-existence. A state devoid of reason, of sensation, of passion.
Dahl coughs, then gives a ragged breath.
A state of purity.
Sounds like oblivion. Why would anyone want that?
Is it worse than remaining in this shadow of what life once was? I think not.
Tell me more about the mortuary. So, there's a bit of cycling through. This game's conversations use a lot of the conversational hub technique, where you'll keep coming back to the same paragraph time and time again. And this may be one of those.
This is where the dead are brought to be interred or cremated. It is our responsibility as dustmen to care for the dead, those who have left this shadow of life, and walk the path to true death.
Dahl's voice drops in concern.
Your wounds must have exacted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home.
We've asked about the shadow of life. We've asked about true death. Let's ask about the dustmen. Dustmen, of course, are like binmen, road sweepers.
We dustmen are a faction, a gathering of those of us that recognize the illusion of this life. We await the next life and help others on their journey.
Perhaps you can explain why the dustmen want me dead.
Dahl sighs. It is said there are souls who can never attain the true death. Death has forsaken them, and their names shall never be penned in the dead book. To awake from death as you have done suggests you are one of these souls. Your existence is unacceptable to our faction.
Unacceptable? That doesn't sound like it leaves me in a good position.
You must understand, your existence is a blasphemy to them. Many of our faction would order you cremated if they were aware of your affliction.
But you are a dustman. But you don't seem to be in favor of killing me. Why not?
Because forcing our beliefs upon you is not just. You must give up this shadow of life on your own, not because we force you to.
Dahl looks about to break into another coughing jag, but he manages to hold it in with some effort.
As long as I remain at my post, I will protect your right to search for your own truth.
What is your post? Well, it's probably your position here.
I am a scribe, a cataloguer of all the shells that come into the mortuary.
Dahl coughs again, then takes a deep breath.
As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain at my post.
You say that I have been here more than once. How is it that the dustmen do not recognize me?
Updated my journal.
I am the one that catalogues the shells that come to our halls, Restless One.
Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing, then steadies himself.
Only I see the faces of those that lie upon the slabs. The dark of your existence lies safe with me.
Tell me more about the mortuary. I sense I have more to ask. So, what is this sigil? You have mentioned a sign, a symbol.
Sigil is our fair city, Restless One.
Tell me more. You mentioned my wounds?
Yes, the wounds that decorate your body. They look as if they would have sent a lesser man along the path of the true death, yet it seems as if many of them have healed already.
Dahl coughs violently for a moment, then steadies himself.
But those are only the surface wounds.
Only surface wounds? What do you mean?
Updated my journal.
I speak of the wounds of the mind. You have forgotten much, have you not? Mayhap your true wounds run much deeper than the scars that decorate the surface.
Dahl coughs again.
But that is something that only you would know for certain.
Well, tell me more. I would like to know more. Such as, how did I get here?
Dahl snorts in contempt, as if he finds the memory repugnant. Your mouldy chariot ferried you to the mortuary, Restless One. You would think you were royalty based on the number of loyal subjects that lay stinking and festering upon the cart that carried you.
I arrived here on a cart?
Updated my journal.
Yes, your body was somewhere in the middle of the heap, sharing its fluids with the rest of the mountain of corpses.
Dahl breaks into another violent fit of coughing, finally catching his breath minutes later.
Your seneschal, Farad, was, as always, pleased to accept a few mouldy coppers to dump the lot of you at the mortuary gate.
Who is this Farad you mention?
He is a collector of the dead.
Dahl draws a ragged breath, then continues.
We have such people in our city that scavenge the bodies of those that have walked the path of true death, and bring them to us so that they may be interred properly.
And where might I find this Farad?
If events persist as they have, Nameless One, you have a much greater chance of Farad finding you and bringing you to us again before you find whatever ooze puddle he wallows in this time.
Well, nevertheless, I must find him. A slight warning creeps into Dahl's tone.
Do not seek out Farad, Restless One. I am certain that it will simply come full circle again, with you none the wiser, and Farad a few coppers richer. Accept death, Nameless One. Do not perpetuate your cycle of misery.
I have to find him. Do you know where he is?
Updated my journal.
Dahl is silent for a moment. When he finally speaks, he seems to do so reluctantly.
I do not know under which gutter stone Farad lairs at the moment, but I imagine that he can be found somewhere beyond the mortuary gates, in the hive. Perhaps someone there will know where you can find him.
Thank you. I had some other questions. This is one of those questions conversation. Right. I want to ask more about the people who were brought here with me. So we're going to go back to the mortuary conversation. How did I get here? Arrived on a cart. Okay, so no, that's not it. Again? Have I been here more than once?
Yes, again. You have been brought here many times before, Restless One. I had hoped that this time would be your last, considering the wounds you had sustained, he sighs. When will you give up your passion and share this shadow of life? Sorry, and leave this shadow of life.
Alright, other questions. Wait, no. Tell me about the mortuary. Okay, no, it's not one of these questions. I found out how I got here. Can you tell me how? Do you know who I am?
Updated my journal.
I know scant little of you, Restless One. I know little more of those that have journeyed with you and who now lie in our keeping.
Dahl sighs.
I ask that you no longer ask others to join with you, Restless One. Where you walk, so walks misery. Let your burden be your own.
There are others who have journeyed with me? And they are here?
Updated my journal.
Do you not know the woman's corpse interred in the memorial hall below? I had thought that she travelled with you in the past.
Dahl looks like he's about to start coughing again, then catches his breath.
Am I mistaken?
Where is her body?
The Northwest Memorial Hall on the floor below us. Check the biers there. Her name should be on one of the memorial plaques. Mayhap it will revive your memory.
I don't know. I don't ever recall travelling with a woman. Dahl makes no response to this. He simply stares at you in silence. Before you said there were others interred here who journeyed with me. Where are they?
Doubtless there are, but I know not their names, nor where they lie. One such as you has left a path many have walked and few have survived.
Dahl gestures around you.
All dead come here. Some must have travelled with you once.
I find no fault of your reasoning. I might have something else I wanted to check. You sound ill. Are you not well?
I am close now to the true death, Restless One. It will not be long before I pass beyond the eternal boundary and find the place I have been seeking. I tire of this mortal sphere.
Dahl gives a ragged sigh.
The plains hold no more wonders for one such as I.
Are you certain? There might be some way I could help you.
I do not wish to live forever, nor live again, Restless One. I could not bear it.
Well, you mentioned something about an eternal boundary.
The boundary between the shadow of this life and the true death.
I understand. Farewell, Dahl. You seem relatively at peace with your existence. I'll leave you to it. As you turn to leave, Dahl speaks.
Know this. I do not envy you, Restless One. To be reborn as you would be a curse that I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point your path will return you here.
Dahl coughs, the sound rattling in his throat.
It is the way of all things, flesh and bone.
Then perhaps we will meet again, Dahl. Perhaps. Dahl is a nicely well-rounded character. And I believe he even gets his own journal entry. NPC, yes, Dahl. And we get a close-up. Yeah, the art is very dated. This is very Planescape style. That is supposed to be his hair. Oof. This elderly scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Dead, charcoal grey eyes lie within an angular face. A non-human face, as the ears narrow to points. A large white beard flows down the front of his black robes like a waterfall. He coughs occasionally, and the book he works in front of is huge and seems to contain many names. Well, with that, I think I've been recording for long enough, and I should wrap up the episode. Hey, I'm gonna... No! There's something here, and I must have it. But it's gonna be empty. It's empty. Well, yeah, I'm gonna wrap the episode here, I think. I've probably been recording long enough. And you guys might get bored if the video gets too long, you know? But hey, I do hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and while I haven't finished this game in any previous attempt, I think I'd like to make a good attempt at it here, and I've been meaning to play this one again for ages, and I've been wanting to put it on the channel. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the next one. I'll say bye-bye for now, and cheerio!